welcome to Calculated Nonsense.
Episode 1.
Episode 1, yeah. I'm Kyle.
I'm Paul.
Cool. Welcome. Thank you for watching again. If you watched our episode 0, thank you. We noticed there was quite a few. However, I'm going to give you, the audience, a little bit of a ribbing. I don't know how many of you watched the whole thing. I think YouTube said that, like, most people watch about 7 minutes and then they clicked off, which means that they didn't get to the best part, the puns at the end.
The puns,
so
yeah.
if you didn't, this will be in the first couple minutes. So you can go back, fast forward, I don't care. Get to the part about the puns. There's some really funny stuff in there.
There's some really good puns in there.
And you may have to pause to read some of the definitions that pop up right up here. And just so you know, we're going to keep doing that. I thought that looked good. So,
it did look good.
There's some funny stuff there. So go back, watch it, pause it. If your name's Karen, we apologize. But it's all for fun. It's funny.
It's all good ribbing.
Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We appreciate all of you guys. So that being said, if you haven't liked or subscribed, it'll be down here, up here, depending on where you're looking at watching it. Please do that. We need your support. For those who commented on our last video, we appreciate that too. We need your feedback, so give us your feedback.
Oh yeah.
So, well, let's jump right into things, I guess.
I noticed that you're wearing a Punisher shirt this day.
yeah.
Marvel last time and Punisher this time.
Still Marvel, yeah. Just a little more targeted, yeah. When I was trying to, I tend to be pretty calculated on what I decide to wear certain times, but I was like, what do I have that I can wear that might be kind of on point with what we might be talking about in this episode? And so I thought about the Punisher. I think the Punisher is an often misunderstood character. I think a lot of people think about the Punisher, whether that was like the movies from like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, or like the current iteration on on Netflix with Jon Bernthal, which is the best version, by the way. If you haven't seen it, check that out. It's very, very well done. Jon Bernthal is great, and I hope that
is it an animated series?
No.
Okay.
No. But if you don't know who Jon Bernthal is, he was Shane on The Walking Dead for a couple seasons and a couple flashbacks here and there. But he's a great Punisher. There's a lot of violence, so maybe not for
the
kids. But the Punisher, he's more of an anti-hero type character. He's just like a lot of heroes. He's got his code, and his code is a lot more open to people ceasing to live after running into him. But so the reason I wore the Punisher shirt, we'll go full nerd.
It's fine. It's allowed.
So almost a year ago, because we're in June now, July of last year, Marvel put out an issue of the Punisher number 13, I think, where the Punisher gets cornered in an alley by a bunch of police officers. And these police officers have like they've got the Punisher emblem on like their vests. I think they've got a Punisher emblem, on their car. And just when you think, oh, he's cornered, these police officers, they pull out their cell phones and they start taking pictures. Oh, they want a selfie with the Punisher. they love the Punisher and what he does and autographs, all this stuff. And Frank Castle, which is the Punisher, that's his name in the comics, he gets mad. He's like, you guys should not be idolizing me and using my skull symbol on your police uniforms.
Law and order uniforms.
Yeah, and it's, I get there's I've got a lot of friends who are police officers or law enforcement or military. who utilize this skull emblem. I mean, I do. I think I've got. I know I've got a gun at home that I took a little decal from our cricket and I sprayed it on there. You know, I did that too. I'm a Punisher fan, but you know, when you have those insignia there, kind of as inspiration. But so in the comic, he gets mad, and his reasoning is, you guys shouldn't be idolizing what I, the Punisher, do, because this, you know, he wears this skull on his chest to right the wrongs that the legal system did to him. You know, he lost his whole family because dirty cops let the bad guys go, and the bad guys killed his family, killed his wife and kids, kids depending on what you're reading or watching, and so he believes that, you know, if you're a bad guy, you can't put the bad guy in jail, because the bad guy, you know, he's gonna get an attorney who's going to get him out, and you know, they'll be right back on the streets doing the same thing. So Frank Castle's code is, you're a bad guy, I'm after you, I'm going to put you down. And so he didn't think that these law enforcement officers who have sworn to protect and serve and taken an oath to uphold the law should be promoting what he's doing, because ultimately he realizes his code is bad, and if he gets caught, he's going to do the time necessary, because he's done bad things, but he's done those bad things to, you know, ultimately protect the people that he loves or that he's come across, the disenfranchised type. So
you shouldn't idolize. The cops should not be idolizing the Punisher.
Right. And so, you know, I you know, if you're a police officer watching this, law enforcement officer watching this, you know, do what you do. You know, I know that ultimately most people who are wearing this, I mean, I wear this because I'm a fan of the Punisher comics. I'm not a fan of going out and just killing people. So, and I know that the law enforcement officers who might be watching this, or military who might be watching this, I know that you're probably not that way as well. But unfortunately, this week there was last week. It might have been the week before now. I can't recall. I know that most of the stuff has happened over the last week, but where some bad stuff happened up in Minnesota, and so that's kind of what influenced, I guess, what I'm wearing today. Just because it was the only shirt that I could find.
If you are a police officer or a military person, I think the person you should idolize would be like Captain America.
Yeah, so that's exactly what that's exactly what Frank Castle says in Punisher number 13. You know, if you want a symbol to put on your vest or to put on your cars, it should be Captain America, because that hero, he's a Boy Scout. You know, he follows the rules, and he protects those that need to be in his code. Is you don't kill. And so that's what you signed up for.
That's
correct.
What you signed up for.
Absolutely. But like I said, if you are a police officer rocking this and you're going out there, I'm not going to fault you for that. So
you could be a fan of Punisher and still be a police officer or a military person.
Absolutely.
And that's allowed.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely allowed. And so we're not trying to say that you shouldn't wear this, because if that was the case, then I wouldn't wear it. But I'm wearing it because I like the Punisher. I love comics, and I love nerdy
T-shirts.
stuff. But
your T-shirt can have symbolic meanings. As a nerd, it can have symbolic meanings.
Yeah, for sure.
It's allowed.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's kind of, I guess, that's kind of where we wanted to
title of this episode.
Start. Yeah. So we'll just maybe jump right into
transition to current events. Okay.
Jump right into what's going on out there.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about some current events. First thing I want to talk about is that I got yelled at by a teenager. I know, it's shocking, surprising.
For what?
So we were coming home we spent a whole Sunday night dinner with my parents, with the dog, and we're coming home, dog's asleep in the middle seat and everything, and, we're following this car. This car's been, like, dropped and sits really low.
Yeah.
And, I'm following him, and normally I think the speed limit on the road is like 45, and I normally do about 50, and this car is going like 30. So I have to, I come up on them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going really slow, so, I had to stop.
This is the teenager?
Yes.
So I got in trouble last night because I was on Oak Grove.
Okay.
Kind of cutting over by Costco.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a person in front of me driving super slow. And I'm like, gosh, come on. Old people. Like, old people. And Amanda smacks me. And she's like, it's not always old people. I drive super slow sometimes too. And I said, that's why you don't drive. That's why I'm driving.
But he's driving slower, and he's in a car that's been intentionally dropped, and whatever. So I do the safe distance thing, and we're going, and his speed starts dropping more, and it's at 30, then it drops to 28, and then it drops to 25, and I'm like, what? Was I being a jerk? And we go over. He goes over the train tracks, and he comes to a stop sign, and full stop, and then the window comes down, and he yells at me. He goes, "What's up with the lights, bro? Why are they so bright?" And I was like, "They're not on, bro. My brights are not on." And then I give him a little flash. He gets so mad. And I'm pretty sure I blinded him a little bit but his car sits low.
So first off,
and I'm in a truck.
This kid has no concept of optics.
Yes.
So
that's a struggle at first.
Someone needs to go pay attention in school, especially in
science class.
Science, understand, or maybe just go take a look at your car, and you'll see that inside your headlights is a lot of reflective material to push that light out.
Yeah, that's the point.
And when you intentionally lower your car, so Paul's truck headlights are here, and here's where his window should be, and then that light is hitting the back of the vehicle. Now he's intentionally lowered his vehicle, which means that the light is going to be directly shining into his car, and it's going to be super bright.
He had no idea.
Nuts.
And he drove off angry and mad, and I was like...
And gave this kid, we gave this kid a driver's license.
Yes. I mean, I'm sure he knows now, because he's watching right now.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's
definitely.
Watching. Hopefully he's getting mad and breaking his computer.
Or he lifts it back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Or he flips the little thing on the mirror.
Make sure that he puts a headlight fluid in his car too.
Fill it up to the top.
Yeah, make sure.
Fill that headlight fluid.
That'll help make sure that the light shines correctly.
Shines bright.
Yeah, make sure you put all the headlight fluid in.
So what about you? What's the current event in your life, Kai?
Oh, no. It's funny. If I talk to like a grandparent or something, they're always like, "Oh, what have you been up to?" And it's always the same thing. Work. I tend to work a lot.
I mean, that's what you do in your 30s. You work.
tend to work a lot, but we opened our axe throwing venue back up this week, which is great. It was slow, but I think that's to be expected. I mean, it's just like opening up all over again, from ground level. So, and it also doesn't help that people are still a little bit
apprehensive.
Yeah, apprehensive to get back out. So that doesn't help. And we did so we were making people wear masks when they're in here, which is good. It sucks because it's warm. Last week wasn't terrible though. Actually, last week's temperature was really good. We had a couple. We had a group that made a reservation, and when we take a reservation, we tell everybody, like, so they know what to expect.
Ahead of time.
You know, hey, you got to wear a mask. We do that even before. Like, hey, you got to make sure you wear closed-toed shoes because you're throwing axes. Yes. We don't want you to cut your toes off. It's amazing how many people still show up and they're in sandals. And it's like, I throw axes very, very well. And I can still drop an axe. And if it drops on my toe, it's gone. And I like my toes.
I don't know. I like your toes too.
Very pretty toes. But so tell these people, you know, hey, you got to wear masks. We're not accepting cash right now because we want to limit that interaction. So you got to stick your card in the machine. Still closed-toed shoes.
Safety things.
Yeah, and so we had this group of guys show up, and one car pulls in, and it's Mercedes, nice vehicle. Then the second vehicle that pulled in is like giant, like Dodge 3500 truck, lifted up, rolled coal coming into the parking lot, and so they park, they get out, and I told my business partner, I said, these guys, this could be the first struggle group. It just depends on how they think, but odds are not in our favor that they're gonna like to wear masks. Now, so there's 4 on the reservation. They showed up with 5.
Oh, okay.
And so we were limiting lanes. So we were going to put them on 2 different lanes spaced apart. So they get up, and none of them wearing masks. They're walking up to the door, and so we get up. Hey, do you have a reservation? Yep. Yeah, we got a reservation. Hey, just so you know, we're requiring people to wear masks. Do you have your masks? I think like 1 or 2 of them did have masks in their pocket. They pulled their masks out, but one guy kind of lingered outside a little bit, and he was kind of just like, you could tell, like, walking around, and so we have masks for people, and so we gave the other guys, they bought masks, and nobody complained, nothing, and so these 4 signed in. This other guy stayed outside on his cell phone, and my business partner asked, hey, is he not coming in?
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, he doesn't do masks. He doesn't do masks.
What the heck does that mean?
What does that mean? Like, okay, he can't come in unless he wears a mask. Well, yeah, he just won't come in. And they weren't mean about it. They were just they almost like he's a moron. Like, he's just gonna stay outside. And so we take the group of 4 down. He takes them down to train them in, and this guy sits outside. Well, then one of the guys lets him, hey, you want to sit in the car? This guy sits outside. So we had all the doors open. He's backed into his parking spot, sitting in this car for an hour. Like, if it was me, like, if I'm one of the other guys, I'm like, hey, do you want to go drive somewhere? Like, go do something for an hour? And he just sat there, and it was like, he doesn't do masks. Just put it on.
It's not hard.
It's not that bad.
It's not.
Like, if we tell everybody, like, hey, we get that it's warm in here. You're gonna have this mask on. At some point, it might get a little tough to breathe. If you have to pull it down a little bit to take some, breathe.
Yeah,
breathe.
Like walk away from other people. And stuff
or like,
too. Like,
like if you're with your group, hey, you all came together. If one of you have it, you guys all have it already. So, whatever. If you have to breathe. But if you're gonna walk over to the restroom, walk past other groups, make sure you pull it back up. Once you kind of get your breather, pull it back up. Like, it's not that big a deal. It sucks to wear the mask. I mean, I've had to do it now for a week.
Mm-hmm.
It is no fun to wear a mask, but you got to do it. Like,
yeah, we had to wear it all day at the primary ballot thing. We had to wear it all day.
Yeah.
8 hours mask the whole time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there are workers, like healthcare workers, that are wearing it to where their ears are starting to hurt, and they're like pulling their ears.
See, I'm all mine tie.
This is for, but you're talking about for 1 hour.
Yeah.
At an axe throwing.
Yeah.
Where like you could even you would potentially even forget you're wearing a mask because of what the physical activity you're doing.
Sure.
So this dude sat outside for an entire hour.
Yeah.
And just played on a cell phone? Twiddle his thumbs?
I told my business partner, I said he's probably writing like oh, these guys suck because they're going to make me wear a mask.
Yeah.
And, he didn't do that, so we appreciate that. But he could have.
Yeah, and at least you also respect it. I thought this story was going to end.
We did have one other person who their group came in. It was a group of 4, 2 couples, and nobody complained about wearing the masks or anything like that. But I noticed that one lady kept watching Adam and I to see what we were doing, like if we had our masks on, and so and this was towards closing, like they were the last group we had, and I went in the back and got some water, and came back out, and rather than taking and like pouring the cup of water through my mask, which would have been ridiculous, I loosened the mask and I pulled it up and I took a drink. Because that's what you do. Like, you can't drink through the mask. I mean, that's just dumb.
Did she get mad at you?
No, but she kept watching that, and then it got like really close to the end. There was actually 2 groups in here at that time. The one group had finished their time, and so they were the last group in here. And I mean, we were like, they had like 5 minutes left, and they were done, and we were getting ready to close. And so Adam, I think, had taken his off to do the same. He got a drink, but his mask didn't tie. It went around his ears.
Yes.
So he took it off. And the second he took it off, this lady turns around and she's like, "Oh, you don't have your mask on. I'm taking mine off." Boom, she took her mask off. And it was kind of like, it's not really how it works. Like, yeah, you're the last group. There's nobody else in here. But like, that's not really how it works. Like,
yeah. Still need to put your mask back on.
Yeah, like, put it back on. Like, you took it off to take a drink. If you need to take a drink, take a drink. But like,
we're putting it back on.
Like, so excited to like,
you did it, so now I can.
I get to do it. No, it doesn't work that way. So,
sounds like
but yeah, other than, I mean,
it's very teenager thing.
It was good. It was nice that there was like nobody was like even the guy that sat out in the car, like, he didn't throw a fit.
Yeah, he didn't throw a fit. He was very respectful. That's awesome.
He made a point. Like,
well, I mean,
and his point is that he got to sit in a hot
car.
and not throw axes and have a killer time with all his other buddies who probably were like, got back in the car and they're like, "Dude, why don't you just wear a mask? That was so much fun."
Yeah.
And he just got to sit there on his phone. So, but yeah, that was. It's been a fun week.
No, that's good. It's good to hear. I'm glad that he was respectful too. Like, he stayed out there. I thought this was going to end with him trying to sneak in and trying to sneak in through the door or whatever to get in there.
Nah, I could take him out from across the room.
just
broke the rules.
Just like, imagine you like put your feet, like, you go down into a football stance and you just charge at him.
Oh no, I'm talking about.
With an axe.
Full on axe.
Oh,
Yep. Sir, you're trespassing.
I need an officer. Officer, man down. Man down. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Well, what other events are there? There's astronomy news. There's some big astronomy news.
The
historic launch.
Super cool.
Elon Musk, baby.
Yeah, Elon Musk. I'm a big fan of Howard Stern, and not necessarily for not for the raunchy stuff. You know, the shock jock portion of his. That stuff's fun to listen to. It's funny to listen to. Frankly, no matter who you are, it's funny.
Yeah.
You might go, "Oh, that stuff's terrible," but you'd laugh at it.
Oh,
You'd laugh. It's funny.
Oh, yeah.
But he's a great interviewer, and frankly, he's at this point he's in his upper 60s, and
I think you're right.
and he's lived through a lot, and he's seen a lot, and so actually, literally this morning, this is Wednesday the June 3rd. So literally this morning, he was on talking when I was driving in, like an hour and a half ago. and he was talking about like what's going on, the riots and all that stuff, and he was like, you know what we really need. He might not have seen the video. Actually, there's a video of this person I'm getting ready to talk about who showed up at one of the riots. But he said, you know, really what we need is we need a Batman, which is great because I was like all ears. And
you're a
if
huge
you don't,
Batman fan.
a massive Batman fan. If you don't know, Howard Stern is also he's really into comic books. I mean that's what kept him sane, I guess, when he was a kid. He was super into that stuff. He likes all that stuff. Now, but he's like, man, with all these billionaires that we have all this money, he's like, I can't believe one of these billionaires hasn't like built his own Batcave and started his own crime, you know, used his money to start to do this. And he's like,
it's just selfish at this point.
Yeah, and he's like, the closest thing we've got to a billionaire trying to be Batman is Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. And he said, this guy's trying to build rockets so he can get the hell off this planet.
What does that tell you about our planet?
Inhabit another world.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I found very funny. But yeah, yes. Elon Musk owns SpaceX.
Yeah, they had their historic launch,
which is really cool. I've followed SpaceX a lot. National Geographic did that show Mars.
Oh yeah.
Which was really well done. Actually, there's one of the guys in Mars. His parents live here in Evansville.
Really?
Yep. He was.
Did not know that.
He got hooked up. He was like a stunt actor, and he got hooked up with Ron Howard when he was doing the Dan Brown movies. So he's actually in one of those movies. I can't remember which one it was. I think. I can't remember which one it is, but he's at some point he's tied up and tortured on a table in one of the. He's a stunt actor. He's not really a huge angel. It was in Angels and Demons.
Yeah,
it was in Angels and Demons. Yeah, and it wasn't a huge part, but he's like tied up and tortured, I guess, in this movie, and so after doing that, that's right after that, Ron Howard did the Mars series, which was like a normal show.
It was pretty well done, actually.
But then also a little bit of documentary stuff here and there, because they basically what they were doing with Mars was they were showing like what a Mars launch would look like and what it would look like once they got to Mars, and then
it's really
when
cool
they built a colony. Yeah, it was really, really neat. But during that series is when they were first testing what do they call it, the Dragon rockets, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Dragon series rockets, and like showing these videos of like they'd all be in their SpaceX mission control, and it's funny that like you had Elon, who was an older adult, and then literally everybody around him seemed to be like in their 20s, 30s. Like it wasn't a lot of older people in that. I don't at least I don't recall seeing that. Maybe that's me just not paying attention or thinking like, oh, look at all these young, bright people.
Yeah, that's what you looked for.
Yeah, and, but then they'd show the attempts at like trying to launch this rocket. So the idea with the Dragon series rockets were that they were reusable, so that like when they would send these people to Mars, they could land this rocket on Mars and then reload the rocket, refill it with fuel, and so they could come back or send people back or send supplies back. And so, they'd show the testing. You'd see this rocket come down and be like all wavy, and it might land and 1 foot on the pad, and then it would teeter itself, and as soon as it teetered itself, it would fall over and be destroyed. And the cool thing, and I know you probably know this, but our viewers probably don't know this, is that they're doing all of this with artificial intelligence.
Yeah, AI.
And blockchain, which is Bitcoin or Ethereum or, that, super, what would be the word? Super taboo currency that people are like, oh, scary.
Stay away from it.
But it's really cool stuff. And it was really neat to like the Dragon rocket came back and it landed itself after this one, after this launch, which was cool. I think it was cool too to see, like we had it on in here on our TVs, and to see like all the groups that were in here literally stopped what they were doing to turn and watch this launch. It was first launch since 2011, and one of the groups that I was teaching at the time, they were about our age, 30, in their 30s, and they were like, "Oh, we've never seen a launch before." And it's like, well, it just happened in 2011. Like,
yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
yeah, I mean, I know there's probably they were probably in their early 20s, and all they cared about was like drinking and partying until it was too late. But that's
fair.
Yeah.
But it's still inspirational. Like it's inspirational to the point to where I will drop what I'm doing to go and look at something and to look at this.
Yeah. Did you ever see any shuttle launches like that when you were in NASA?
I did not. We watched for one, but it got scrubbed because of the weather.
Yeah.
We did. I wish I could have been there because I've heard that it's like an earthquake.
It's super cool. So I got to I was really into like space shuttles and stuff like that when I was a kid, and we would go every year, like from the time I think I was like a baby until pretty much high school. We would go every year. We'd go to Daytona Beach, and Daytona Beach is really close to Cape Canaveral, Kennedy Space Center, where they do.
Kennedy Space Center is awesome.
They do all the launches or a lot of launches.
I think that's the place that they do the launches.
They don't do anything in Houston launch-wise?
I don't know.
Okay. So I know they do a lot, if not all, of the launches there, and we went when I was younger. I can't pinpoint. My mom or dad might be able to pinpoint it. What's funny is I can tell you what vehicle we were driving at the time, and I can tell you what happened to that vehicle. I know that it was between like 98 and 2000, and we were down there, and they were going to do a launch, and it was the Discovery, I believe, that they launched, and we were like a mile away.
The viewing area.
Yeah, we were like a mile away, and you could still feel like the building shake and the ground shake, and it was super cool, and we went to a Pizza Hut, which was a little bit further away, but still within like 2 miles. And they talked about how like, oh yeah, they could feel it there, and it would rattle the whole place and their plates and stuff like that, and but super cool. Kennedy Space Center is a cool place. Have you ever been there?
Love Kennedy Space Center.
Yeah, really cool place.
It's worth it. It's worth every bit going there to see those people.
Yeah, and like they have like
they have astronaut interviews. You can sit down and talk to an astronaut.
They have like the decommissioned like Apollo rockets there.
They've got a lot of stuff there.
And they're huge. It's so crazy to
they have a Saturn V rocket.
That's what it was. It was a Saturn V. Yeah.
If you stand next to one and it's like, I am so tiny and insignificant next to this thing.
Yeah, it's insane.
It is quite jaw-dropping.
Super cool to see the launch and see like we're going, really going back to space and
space does that. It's very inspirational to people.
Yeah,
like going there, astronauts, and like just looking. Like this inspired me to like get. One of my students sent me a message that says that I haven't found a telescope going through my grandpa's stuff, because like they went through the attics because of COVID. It's like we got a telescope that no one's ever used. And I was like, I will for sure take that. Sure, come on, bring it up. And he gave it to me, still in the packaging, like not been opened. I opened it up and like I set it up, and I know I started doing research into astronomy, and like I was into it before, but like now I'm like I'm older and I'm still into it. Yeah. And I found that I've been doing astronomy wrong a lot. And they make these. So like my problem with the astronomy is looking through the telescope is because like I have glasses. and like your eye, you have
Once
to take your
again,
glasses off.
Contacts.
No, refuse. Ridiculous suggestion. You have to put your eye into the eyepiece in order to see it. They make eyepieces that are massive now, and that your eye doesn't have to go fully inside of it to see it.
Yeah.
Like you can literally just look down into it, and like your eye doesn't have to be inside of it. We've been doing it wrong the whole time, and I really want. I'm gonna order one of those eyepieces to like show my students and everything too.
That's cool.
So
did you see all the posts or conspiracy sites that were like, oh, NASA saw the UFOs when they were docking the pod, and you didn't see all that stuff?
No, because I don't.
And it's like,
it's all
guys, that's a
crap.
satellite. That's a sat. Well, I hope it's not crap. I hope it's real. I hope there's intelligent life out there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I hope that the conspiracy people are right.
No.
No.
Although some of them are, but.
No. Okay.
No, but yeah, it's like, that's a satellite. Come on. Look, it looks like a satellite. That isn't a UFO. Like.
People, yeah. There's a.
But it's really cool to see that we're going back. You know, we sent a couple of these guys back up to the International Space Station, which is getting decommissioned next year. Is that right?
I think so.
They're gonna crash it into the middle of nowhere.
It took so long to put that thing up, and they're just gonna crash it all together, all down.
Yeah.
I wonder if Taco Bell will do the thing again. Do you remember that?
No.
So whenever they crashed the last space station, Taco Bell put out this.
It was a Russian space station.
Yeah. They put out this giant target in the ocean, and they said that if a piece of the space station falls and hits the target, everyone on the planet gets a free taco.
But it won't do that though, because they make it land. So it's a really cool. So they're in the middle, the farthest point from any land in the Pacific Ocean is where they will crash the International Space Station.
Which is for the best.
And I think that this place is called Nowhere, right?
Is it? Are you talking about like .000 or whatever?
Yeah, that's what it is.
I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so this is just, there is an island of junk, like it's where they decommission satellites. It's where they literally every country will dump.
It's a designated dump zone for space
because
debris.
it's so far away from land that
it's the most human thing ever.
We've
chosen a certain spot to pollute.
But they did it. They did it though because of that. In that point too, the sea life was pretty much non-existent as well, and now it is very much non-existent. Except they have found a couple of really cool looking like crabs that kind of live on some of that junk that's out there, which is neat because they would die and get eaten out everywhere else. But yeah, so they're gonna crash this, like they're gonna crash it out in the middle of nowhere. No one will see it. No one will ever see it again because nobody sees any of that stuff out there.
Yeah.
But and then next they're gonna colonize the moon, right?
I want Moon Station, and then I want Moon Station. And I want Mars establishment.
So I thought that the plan was to
go back to the moon.
They were gonna weaponize the shuttles for the Space Force. And they're gonna put the colony back on the moon, not in the basement of some studio in California. And then there was going to be some Death Star type ray. Isn't that what
this is?
Didn't he sign? Didn't our POTUS sign that into executive order?
I am fuming. That you think that no, absolutely not. No.
I'm just kidding. That's all made up. That's all just me being sarcastic. In an attempt to start a fun conversation.
You're trying to start a fight. Is what you're trying to start a fight between us.
No fight. No.
So the
Space Force concept is really cool. You know, when you think, but calling it a Space Force.
I do like it. I like that. I hate to say that I agree with him on that, but I do like it. Do I think that it needs to be... I don't think... Oh, I have such weird opinion on it. Because, yes, we need to establish...
It was done in an attempt...
I want to go back to space. That's all I want.
The Space Force was done in an attempt to, make ourselves look good because, it's part of the military now. Which is a terrible plan.
Which is a terrible plan.
Yeah.
Militarizing space is a terrible plan.
The only time that we should militarize anything in regards to space should be like when, the aliens or Independence Day come.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Then
we are
militarize.
I want our species to be peaceful explorers. That's what I want. Do I know that that's not going to happen? Yes, because human beings are somewhat violent, and the earliest humans have been found with arrowheads in their rib cages and stuff. We've been violent our whole lives, and I'm hoping that space, at least the realization of getting to space and establishing moon colonies and stuff like that, will stop us from acting upon our most basic instincts.
Yeah, it won't.
I know,
but there's always hope.
I have hope that it will eventually.
So what about so historic launch? That was great. What about anything else happening in the last week or so? Last time?
I found a new app on my phone.
A new app?
Yeah, it's called HBOMAX.
Right. HBO Max. That's cool. I got HBO Max too. I was very excited for HBO Max to come out. Yeah.
I thought it was very, very purple. Very purple.
Very purple. Yeah.
Very purple. Watching
I
it.
like it.
Watching
I
it
like all the
on a Teletubby is what I view my app as.
Yeah, I was excited for HBO Max. I've been a fan of HBO for a long time.
Yeah, I like HBO too.
They put out great content. Game of Thrones and Westworld are ones that people probably think about a lot.
Yeah, but everyone's got like HBO Go, they got HBO Now, and now they got HBO Max.
Yep.
So they have 3 platforms of doing everything.
But it'll all get so HBO's initial plan and in most cases, if you had HBO Now, your app should have already changed to
the Max app.
HBO Max. Yeah, it just converted. They migrated it. Eventually everybody's HBO Now and HBO Go, all of them will, but that's a process. They kind of, which who wouldn't, but they wanted to get it out because people are at home right now.
They're watching.
There's still stay-at-home orders in a lot of places, but they're watching stuff, and so they wanted to get HBO Max out there, so people can gain access to all this all this great content. My reasons for being excited for HBO Max are, which tends to be for everything, but I'm a big movie buff. I like all these cool shows and series. I'm excited about new content.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited that HBO Max, Warner Brothers Studios finally gave in to the thousands and thousands and thousands of fans who have wanted the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. I'm so excited that's coming in 2021. I hope so. Rumored.
Will they reshoot like some of them?
They said that they're not doing reshoots for the actors because he had all the content done. He just didn't have all of his visual effects done.
I gotcha.
If you don't know the story behind the Justice League movie, Zack Snyder had filmed pretty much everything, if not everything, and right in the middle of filming and post-production, his daughter died. I believe she committed suicide. And so he actually stepped away, and
Which is understandable.
yeah,
Completely
absolutely. And Warner Brothers, for whatever reason, thought it would be a great idea to bring in Joss Whedon, the guy who did the Avengers, the Marvel movies, totally different world, totally different
culture,
personality, culture, to come in and finish this film. And what they did was they did a ton of reshoots, and they changed up the whole movie. Now, there's what is called Mustache Gate. So at the same time, so they had done all their filming, and some of the actors had gone on to film other movies.
Yeah.
One of those actors in movies was Henry Cavill, who plays Superman. Was in the middle of filming for Mission Impossible, where his character had a very distinct mustache, and so he couldn't shave it because he was under contract. He had to keep it. Now, from what I understand, it would be a lot easier to digitally add a mustache than to remove the mustache. But from also what I understand, it's really easy to remove a mustache too. However, the result that came from Joss Whedon's Justice League was terrible. I mean, the CGI was horrible. I can't believe that Warner Brothers even thought that it was a good idea to bring Joss Whedon in. You know, Joss Whedon is a great director.
Yeah.
But
he did some good stuff.
I'm going to go conspiracy theorist here and say that Marvel put Joss Whedon up to do this to screw the DC universe, because you know the DC universe has always been, in comics and in TV shows, has always been darker than the Marvel universe. All the DC heroes have became a hero as a result of some type of tragedy that occurred to them. You know,
even Deadpool has a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Deadpool's like, oh, he must be from the DC universe.
Yeah.
Like
Deadpool's a Marvel character. You know, it's a lot more comedy than, you know, there's a lot more lighthearted. You know, in the Marvel world, all their heroes, you know, got their abilities through like genetic mutation, or like evolution, or technology, or radioactive spider,
Spider-Man.
Yeah. So DC was always darker. Now, what DC also had a lot of really dark moments, and then they would have that, like, you know, there would still be some comedy mixed into it, but not to the point comedy. Not to the point of like Marvel. And so to bring in this guy who's worked in the Marvel universe, it was obvious that like the scenes where they tried to insert comedy, it just didn't work.
Jive with the culture that they set, or the established norm of what DC was not represented well in this video.
And it was still good. I still loved it because just like another guy I really follow a lot, just like Kevin Smith said, Silent Bob, if James Silent Bob. Just like Kevin Smith, any comic book movie or show is a good comic book movie or show, because that's going to get more comic book movies and shows out there. Now, for me being the comic book nerd, that's the great thing. But not everybody feels the same way, and I don't blame you or fault you, but you're wrong. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Attack the audience. That's what we need.
Yeah. But I'm super excited for the Zack Snyder edition of the Justice League. The rumor is it's either going to be a 6-hour movie.
Holy bejesus! So
excited for it, or it is going to be done in the form of a mini-series.
I have to pee. Like, 6 hours is too long. I got pee.
Oh, just pause. Hit pause. I'm excited either way. I also saw today that Warner Brothers came out and they want to bring Ben Affleck back, and they want to bring Jared Leto's Joker back, and they want to bring if I butcher this last name, I'm sorry, but they want to bring Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke back to do an original project for HBO Max, which would be great.
That would be really good.
A lot of people, you know, they want like Michael Keaton as their Batman, or Christian Bale as their Batman, but if you're a comic book reader and really know the Batman myth, man, Ben Affleck is a fantastic Batman, and I really hope that he does come back to do it.
There's a lot of questioning about him too.
Yeah,
a lot of people had hang-ups, but after it came out, everyone shut up.
Yeah, because it was great. The Jared Leto version of the Joker from, you know, Heath Ledger's version of the Joker was really great. Each different version of the Joker that's been done has its own space, and each one of them has like a version of Joker from the comics in terms of like, Joker is going to be, you know, just a crazy murderer in this one, or Joker is going to be the anarchist, which is what Heath Ledger's was. Heath Ledger's Joker was an anarchist. Leto's Joker was a little bit more gangster, and
a lot.
You know, they gave him a lot of tattoos, but man, when it really comes down to what you saw in Suicide Squad, supposedly there's so much more Jared Leto Joker filmed than what ended up in the cut, and that's another, you know, Warner Brothers board members, CEOs, they put their fingers into these things and tried to mesh them because they wanted it to be the Marvel universe, and it's not. You know, they needed to let it be its own thing.
Yes.
But I get
why.
Now they're doing the Zack Snyder, so now people are going like, oh, we want David Ayer's cut of the Suicide Squad. We want his true version that he wanted to do done, because originally that Suicide Squad was going to tie into Justice League. They were gonna bring Steppenwolf, who's the big bad of Justice League. They were gonna bring him to Earth at the end of the original Suicide Squad. That didn't happen, of course.
No.
But so now people are like, oh, we should do this David Ayer edition, or which would be cool. I would love to see Jared Leto's version of Joker more, because I think that in terms of like the character themselves, aside from visual appearance, he did a great job. He did a great job as the Joker, and his voice, his laugh, his like
persona,
persona, his ability to like snap on an instant, like it was all great, and to match him, especially if they can pull Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, which is great, into it as well. I was super excited at the end of Justice League to get the post-credit scene with Lex Luthor and Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke. Lex Luthor was portrayed by I've been trying to think of his name since I brought it up, but
I don't know.
Gosh, it's gonna kill me. Shoot! I feel stupid. I feel inadequate.
I don't know.
Gosh.
You're looking at me.
Zombieland actor and the Social Network actor.
Oh.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse
Jesse Eisenberg played.
Shaved his head too.
Yeah, shaved his head. Yeah, she played Lex Luthor. Now, the hardest thing for me is like, is he the real Lex Luthor, or is he Alexander Luthor, which is the real Lex Luthor's son? And his long hair in Batman vs Superman, he really looked a lot like, and he acted a lot like Alexander Luthor from the comics.
The dad.
No, the son.
The son of
the real big bad Lex Luthor. But I don't ultimately think that's what they were portraying. I think they were just trying to portray a younger, more current, like This is what a super rich tech CEO might act like. I think that's what they were really doing. But I think he did a great job. He got a lot of flack too.
Yeah, he did.
But I think it's just because people are used to seeing him in a different role and
not so serious and dark.
Yeah, and
he's
so,
more lighthearted.
You know, at the end of Justice League, the post-credit scene, they show up. You see this boat, you know, and driving. You drive a boat.
You drive boats.
Yeah, you drive a boat. Driving out to this big super yacht, and then they show, like, you see this person driving from behind, and you see his like his headband flapping in the wind, and you see the swords on his back, and it's like, oh man. And then they turn around, and it's Deathstroke, and it's like, oh man, to see a real cinematic version of Deathstroke, and to be Joe Manganiello, who I think would be fantastic in that role. Man, I want to see that, and I want to see Ben Affleck battling against
I agree.
Deathstroke.
I would see Ben Affleck's Batman again. Quick note: do you think that? So, like, we're talking about Justice League and how they made it more Marvel, and then we talk about Suicide Squad. They made it more Marvel. Do you think that
they didn't quite make it as much Marvel, but it was different.
But they attempted.
They attempted to.
Do you think that's because Marvel is probably the top gross movie industry, and that's what DC is trying to be like, or?
Yeah, I think
they're trying to copy. Like, they were trying to copy to get themselves
not
in
necessarily
that. But I don't think they should.
No, they definitely shouldn't. I don't think they were trying to copy. I think that they're trying to ride that wave, and I think that Marvel got there first in terms of making their cinematic universe, and everybody compares their comic book movies to Marvel, and they shouldn't. It's not meant to be that way.
Probably shouldn't.
But we've normally done here. We've digressed a little bit. Let's go back to HBO Max. Can't wait for the Snyder Cut to be released, but
well, it will be released on HBO Max though.
Yeah, 2021.
2021.
Yep, they gave him $30 million to finish it.
Ooh.
And and so excited to see it. But why don't we give everybody our recommendations?
Oh yeah,
if you've got HBO Max, what to watch.
If you've got like DirecTV or something like that, I think is it included now?
I think if you have, because that's AT&T.
The AT&T bundle, all that stuff. So you can actually check. I guess you could just check, see if you've got.
Yeah, you might have it.
You might have it now.
If not, it's worth looking into. I mean, there's some
worth
great stuff.
considering.
They've got like the full Friends catalog.
Yep.
South Park's on there if you like South Park. All the HBO stuff.
They got some movies on there.
Got a lot of DC stuff on there.
Yeah.
They will have more,
which is very surprising.
Yeah, they will have.
They also
more.
have like Crunchyroll and Studio Ghibli, which
Yep.
I was like, oh my gosh, how do they get?
Yep.
all
Cartoon
that?
Network.
Cartoon Network
is on there. Yeah, so
Adult
a lot
Swim,
of that stuff.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah. So there's so much stuff on there that you can find something.
You'll find
on
something
there.
that you can
It's
watch.
good.
Sure.
But
But
our
if we
three
had to
recommendations.
narrow it down to three things.
So the first one here. So naturally, I tend to watch a lot of shows. My wife and I tend to watch a lot of shows together. A lot of those shows tend to maybe favor my interests more than hers. But one of the first HBO Max originals that's up and live has Anna Kendrick from the
Pitch
Perfect
Yeah.
and the Twilight series. She plays a smaller role in Twilight, but
I was gonna say she's not Belle.
what's that?
She's not Belle.
No, she plays like her friend in high school.
Okay. Yeah.
The show's called Love Life. It premiered with the first 3 episodes, and basically it follows Anna Kendrick's character, who I think she's one of the executive producers and maybe directs some too.
Whoa. Nice.
Follows her character talks about, like, in the first episode, gives a really quick, like, premise of what the show is going to be about. And they talk about, like, this was her experience around, like, her parents' relationships when she was a kid and what she was exposed to and how that's affecting her as she gets into that point in her life where she's looking to find love. And so...
I was say, that's, like, brand new.
Like, each episode is, like, another guy or another relationship that she was a part of. And it talks about, like, this type of relationship is this, and then it goes into the next one, and it's like, here's this one, and then here's this one, and it's really
so, like,
neat.
the season's just going to be a catalog of dudes she's dated?
Yeah, but it talks about, like, the science behind, like, relationships and, like, how, like, the average person has, like, 7 real relationships, and it, you know, they find, like two of those 7 people they might have actually loved, or all different things like that. So it's a really interesting series. Episodes are like 30 minutes long, so really quick. Yeah, it's not hard to watch.
That's easy to commit to.
It's very interesting because it's like, oh, okay, I can maybe remember a past relationship that was
similar.
Like that. Yeah,
you relate to it a little bit.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. Yeah, so that I would recommend that, and it's a good watch. It kind of it is definitely more of like a girly chick flick type show. Like when you first see like the cover and what you think of it, but really I think it has great points for men and women alike. So yeah, good show. Good show.
I'm gonna have to check that one out. I've not seen that one yet. I'll tell you what I have seen though.
What's that?
Doom Patrol.
Yeah, I recommended you watch
did.
it. So Doom Patrol was cool because so I also, you know, I have HBOMAX, but I also have another streaming service that's still out for now. It'll eventually get absorbed into HBOMAX, but DC Universe.
The DC.
There's a lot of really good shows on there. Doom Patrol was one of them, and I recommended this to Paul
fantastic.
A while back. And
what's his name? The actor. He was in The Mummy. What's his name? The Mummy. The guy, main character.
Yeah, Brandon Fraser.
Yeah. He's like the main character in Doom Patrol.
Yeah, he's one of the main characters. Him, and then
he did a really
Matthew
good job.
Bomer is in that. It's really good.
Very rich backstory too, with
so Doom Patrol from a comic book perspective is a very deep dive comic book. Like it's one you've probably never heard of, probably never would have heard of if you didn't know about the show. Definitely worth like looking into Doom Patrol maybe before you watch the series, just to get an idea of some of the characters if you're not used to watching that
show. Can be a little disorientating
because some of the characters are very interesting, very different, but it's a very Alan Tudyk, who plays Mr. Nobody.
Oh yeah.
Who's the narrator?
Yes, he's also
the whole season really.
From Firefly. As well.
Yeah. Tudyk, and he's actually in the Harley Quinn animated series. He plays the Joker.
Really?
He plays like 5 characters in that animated series, but he does different voices for all of them. But he's such a great voice actor, great actor in general.
Mm-hmm. He's really good.
He does good in that series, but it's a very eclectic series. Is that the right word? Eclectic?
Yeah, it hits. There's a little bit of everything.
Different, and it,
Jack of all trades series.
Yeah, and it's fun and funny, and probably not a kids show because there's a lot of language.
There's a lot of topics too.
Oh yeah, a lot of topics.
Mm-hmm.
That relate to a lot of different things. But I would definitely, Doom Patrol is a good one.
Love Life, Doom Patrol.
Yeah, and this one actually came out on HBO before HBO Max, but
yes,
Damon Lindelof, the guy that did Lost,
yes,
did The Watchmen, and it's not a reboot. Actually, this is so kind of coming back to Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder did the Watchmen movie. Which was great.
Fantastic.
It was a great movie, and it followed the original graphic novel series.
Documentary.
And then so people were like, well, Watchmen's coming out. Is it going to be a reboot? What's it going to be a sequel? And so they announced it was going to be more of a sequel, and they did a fantastic job.
Yeah,
so it's set further into the future. So the original Watchmen was set like the 80s, and this is set more today's world. And there's a lot of great topics that relate to what we're going to be talking about here in a little bit.
Give it about 2 or 3 episodes. Like if you're not hooked by the first one, give it 2 or 3, you'll be hooked.
Yeah, it's well worth watching. The episode where they go into like the flashback sequence where they show the Oklahoma stuff. That was
very well done.
Great episode.
Yes.
Definitely recommend that.
Check that out for sure.
Just there's a lot of great content on HBOMAX and certainly worth.
Some old movies too, like Harry Potter.
Oh yeah,
all the Harry
Potter stuff's on
Lord
there.
of the Rings
Lord
on
of the
there.
Rings, a ton of good stuff on there.
Yeah.
So definitely check it out.
That still looks like a Teletubby though.
It's very purple. I like it.
purple.
I got those lights in my office.
I like it too.
Colors.
Purple's like one of my favorite colors, but it's just like you zoomed in on a Teletubby. And just browse through the Teletubby's stomach.
So check HBO Max out and definitely worth getting. So,
yeah, I think it's worth checking out at least.
Right.
A little different direction.
Speaking of Watchmen.
Yeah. Speaking of Watchmen, we're gonna go in a little different direction and talk about the George Floyd stuff a little bit.
The protests that are happening.
Yeah. So
my take is
let's jump right into it.
Might as well. I'm a little apathetic about it. And I still support, huge supporter. But we saw all this before. We've been through this with Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
We've been, and like little to nothing has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm afraid that this exact thing is going to play out, and little to nothing's going to change again. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of messing. I'm tired that my students feel threatened. I'm tired.
Sure.
I'm tired of all that. I'm done with it. So my message is to go vote. Go vote. Check out vote.org. Make sure that you're registered to vote. Go vote to change something. Get out there and do something about it by voting.
Yeah.
Because until we get rid of the leaders that are not doing anything or not changing anything, we're not going to move on from this.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be again and again and again until someone gets into office that will do something about it.
Yeah.
So my take is to go out and vote. Check out vote.org. Make sure you're registered and everything like that.
For sure. I mean, same thing. Like, go vote. It's kind of sad that like when you do see the numbers of like voter turnout and stuff like that, it's
so low.
Yeah, it's terrible. And I was very frightened. So I'm very much. We haven't really got into the political stuff too much yet, which I'm sure we will. But I'm very much in the middle when it comes to my political stance. I've got liberal views on a lot of things, and I've got conservative views on a lot of things. But mostly, it's whatever's best for the people is kind of where I sit. And
it's a very utilitarianism view.
I think that both parties need to work together, which probably won't happen. At this point, I believe that the parties need to split, because I think that within each party there are two separate parties.
I would say it's probably accurate.
And I think that there needs to I think that there needs to be probably more parties involved. We've been stuck on
two-party system for a while.
We've been stuck on a two-party system.
It's all about money, though. That's the reason why they won't do it.
Certainly, and I was very frustrated. So when it comes to our current president, I think that he has done some good things for businesses. I think that has done some good things for businesses on the short term. I think that eventually, long term, it's going to ultimately be not beneficial. And I think that a lot of the stuff that he's done that was beneficial has been offset by a lot of the stuff that he's done that's just been like
awful.
Seriously, yeah, like
just awful.
Like
jaw-droppingly awful.
It's just and it's just kind of silly. I think that a lot of people's mentality is like they support him because they fall on the right side, they fall on the Republican side, and so they support him because the alternative wouldn't have been great. And maybe it wouldn't have, maybe it would have, who knows.
I think that's an unfair comparison. I don't think we would be in the mess we are today if he was not the leader. And she was by far a better choice. She had more experience. By far a better choice. She still had problems.
Sure.
I agree.
Which every candidate does.
But she was by far the more experienced and more capable leader than he has been.
Yeah, and
that was apparent from the primaries.
It's funny, I was kind of excited about a candidate who's now no longer in the race.
Yeah. Democratic candidate.
It was a Democratic candidate, yeah.
I was too.
Pete Buttigieg. Not only because he's from Indiana.
That helps.
My biggest thing was that if you had never seen a video or anything of Pete talking, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about here. You'd just probably know that he was a gay candidate from Indiana who was a good mayor.
Yeah.
That's probably all you knew. But
which is sad that that's the first thing that you like. The first thing you associate with him is being gay.
Yeah,
and
that's what a lot of people.
That's all they care about.
On the right side or on the more Republican side of things, think about and care about. But all you have to do is listen to him speak.
Oh yeah.
And you just know this guy in every single room that he walked into, well, unless that room was like NASA or Harvard, which the guy was a Rhodes Scholar.
Yeah.
He was a military member.
He was one of the top. Any room he walked into,
he was the smartest guy in the room.
Among
the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
The guy spoke with so much intelligence. There was an interview he did. I can't remember where the interview was, but the guy who was asking him the questions was from Norway. And this guy was blown away when Buttigieg responded to his question in this language. Reporter's native language. Mm-hmm. And he learned that language.
Was it Norway or Finnish?
I should have said Scandinavian because I said Norway and I was thinking I can't remember where it was.
I thought it was, I don't know.
It might have been Finland.
Maybe.
But
now I'm have to go look.
But he learned that language so he could read a book.
Yeah.
He learned a language because he wanted to read a book.
In that language. Not the translated version. He wanted to read it in its natural form. The guy was super intelligent. Oh, yes.
He had a lot of the things. I mean, he certainly fell on the spectrum of far left and far right. He certainly fell more.
He was. I felt as he was in the middle or a little bit slightly left to middle.
Yeah.
He wasn't a wild choice.
Right, and he's a guy too that I believe that and I think we'll see him again.
I was gonna say we're not done with him yet.
I think we'll see him again.
need
If
back
not,
feet.
Frank. So I ultimately feel like whatever candidate is chosen, well, it's going to end up being Biden.
Yeah,
it's going to end up being
the
Biden.
presumptive nominee.
He's going to end up with a female running mate.
I'd say it's likely.
I really wish it would have been Buttigieg as his running mate.
Ooh,
I really wish
that
it
would
would
have been good.
because I think he would have balanced. He would have been a good balance. Because I ultimately so the rumor, because that's all it is, a rumor that I saw was that the Democratic candidate was going to end up with a female running mate, and so Trump. This rumor started about the time that coronavirus kind of hit in the U.S. Trump was going to put Pence in charge of the coronavirus task force. He was going to look like a moron come the time of the Democratic nomination, and Trump's going to fire Pence. And say that Pence isn't going to be his running mate anymore, and he was going to pick up the lady from North Carolina, right? North Carolina or South Carolina? I can't think of what her name is. And then it would be Trump and his female running mate versus Biden and his female running mate, in an attempt to help bring in conservative.
I don't think he's going to get rid
voters.
of Pence. I don't think he will.
I don't know. He could get rid of Pence because he
can get rid
he burped in front of him or something.
then there'd be a congressional investigation about it, and
Yeah.
he would be found guilty, and then nothing would happen.
But yeah, so I was really excited about the potential for Buttigieg because he was just a very intelligent person, and I think that someone with his credentials from an educational background, from a Midwest city that was kind of struggling
Really,
and kind of built itself back up. Now it still had its issues and struggles, but I think that he would have been a good choice.
I think he would have too. But it's all about votes.
But I could only imagine the horrible stuff that would if that would have been said in debates.
Debates. Oh my God,
it would have just been terrible.
Because that's all they could focus on. But you gotta go vote.
Yeah.
That's the
so
point.
you got to go out and vote. Sound like I'm.
You sounded Canadian for a second.
You got to go out and vote because nothing's going to change. I mean, in regards to the George Floyd incident and the protests, the peaceful protests are great. The riots are
A bad start.
terrible.
But
yeah.
but judging the protest based on the riot is like all these good cops being judged by a bad cop.
Yeah.
Like you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear that excuse.
Down in the links below under the video, we'll put some show notes. We'll put links to a couple things that I found. Killer Mike. I'm not for sure if anybody watching knows Killer Mike. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. He's a member of the music group Run the Jewels. He was interviewed in Atlanta. His interview was great. I think everybody needs to watch that. I think the people who are starting and inciting the riots need to watch that. I think it's a good video. I think you should watch it. It's not long. A lot of people are still at home. Go watch it. And then also an article that rapper Lil Wayne was in. I think Daily Wire might have put it out, where he talks about his views and how people need to stop grouping entire races into this stuff. And he's an African American artist, and people need to stop grouping because not every white person is a racist, and not every cop is a bad cop.
Sweeping generalizations.
Yeah, that's
That's what it's
tough.
called.
That's tough, and you know, it's a very sensitive situation.
Yeah.
Um,
But it all comes down to, it still all comes back to the same thing. Vote.
Vote.
We got to vote.
Gotta vote. You gotta put people in that can help start making those changes.
Yeah, and if you're in a place right now where going to the polls is dangerous because coronavirus, like you can do mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing. It exists. You can apply for it. Indiana, the stamp is free. You don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
I did mail-in primaries. Did you do mail-in primaries or anything?
in person.
Me and my wife did mail-in primaries. Oh my gosh, beautiful. Loved it. You get to sit there with your ballot. You could Google all these people's names, look up their platforms, and fill in an informed decision.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's what the standard I feel like needs to be. And I don't want to hear all this.
Instead of going in and checking,
I don't know who that is, and you're not allowed on your phone.
all Republican or
all one
all
ticket.
Democrat. Yeah, that look at these different people, because not
Google
every
stuff.
Democratic candidate is going to be on the far left side, just like not every Republican candidate is going to be on the far right side. So it's
informed voting.
Yeah, it's one of the things I didn't mention yet that it made me so angry, because not a lot of people really see this or pay attention to this, but how big of an effect the media has on the way people think. Right when a lot of these protests started, the Daily Mail had posted out a picture, and the headline on this picture was redneck vigilantes line up to protect Minneapolis businesses. And they had this picture of these two guys, big beards, hats on backwards, sunglasses on, bulletproof vests, ARs, they were loaded up. And the first thing that I saw, I thought, one, they said redneck vigilantes, and this guy's rocking Deadpool riding a unicorn on his t-shirt. Now, if they had like Deadpool riding like a Budweiser horse with a Confederate flag, redneck, sure, maybe. But
I like how the nerd in you started questioning it based on the shirt the guy's wearing.
And so then shortly thereafter, I saw the real photo, and the real photo was these two white gentlemen, still, gunned up, ready for a fight, standing with two African American gentlemen wearing the same gear. And they were all there together protecting this store. So it wasn't anything about race.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the original picture,
In
the clickbait version,
clickbaity.
It was all about the redneck vigilantes who were there. And there's so much stuff we can go. I mean, I can go into all kinds of
we digress.
Have you seen all the stuff about
clickbait articles are
about
their own issues?
The pallets of bricks in these areas where we're rioting, and the Antifa stuff, where the white supremacist groups are trying to pose as Antifa, and inside, like, it's crazy stuff. It's so crazy when you really dig into some of these theories and thoughts, and it's nuts. But the biggest key is to educate yourself.
There's a website that'll be in the show notes. Is it the pros cons? The pros cons.
Politico, right?
Is it Politico that does that?
I can't remember.
It's like a little survey you take about issues that you agree with, and it gives you like the candidates that best fit those
what
issues.
You really think, and not just where your head goes to. Oh yeah, I'm a Republican, because you may take the survey and you may go,
oh crap,
I'm really not.
Yeah. Well, what I like be don't just say, oh, they have an R next to their name, or oh, they have a D next to their name, or
Yep.
they think the same way.
Right.
No, do your research. Is it Politico, pros and
I
cons?
think it's Politico, but we'll put it down in the show notes. So check out down below. You may have to hit the little arrow next to the title, and it should expand it. But check those out. We'll have the links to those videos in the articles as well. The Killer Mike and the Lil Wayne stuff. And but yeah, make an educated decision. Don't just take what the media tells you to think, but really develop your own thought and get out there and vote and
then if I would take a voter, start at voting first. Start being a voter.
Yeah.
Vote first, and then once you got that under your wings, informed voter.
Yeah.
We got to build this. We got to scaffold this thing up.
Yeah.
Teacher and me.
There you go.
Teacher and me. Just show up. Go to the primary. See how it's done. Some people have never voted before. They don't know how it works.
Crazy.
I volunteer at the polls to help these people. And like there are people that are like, I don't know how to do this. I've never done this. And I'm like, I'm so glad that you're here. Let me show you.
Yeah.
And like they have a little thing and they check it off. It works brilliantly. I volunteer at the mail-in ballot area, and because they had a whole bunch of people overwhelmed with the coronavirus, if you qualify for absentee ballot and you're in a place where you cannot go out, get an absentee ballot. Have people fill it out. People like me will mark it off and make sure that everything's good, and securely your vote definitely gets counted if you are an absentee ballot person.
And only if you vote the way we want you to vote. Then we throw it away if it's not. Right?
No.
So it is. So it's really secure then.
It's very, very secure. You have to have like initials in the front, like it's a whole process. Like they even compare your signatures, and it goes to an attorney.
What if like
they even discuss like handwriting, like ways to like check for handwriting copy. Oh, it's all kinds.
What
of
about
stuff.
like if somebody who died submits one?
You can't submit one.
Okay.
Like, so you have to have, if someone dies, then you have to like change their address. So the changing of address to your address of someone who died requires you to have like their voter registration. It requires you to have like a lot of personal information, like social security number, job history.
Check.
Like you have to have you have to have a lot of information about moving them. And
So
then
you really want your candidate to win.
it's impractical. It's
Sure.
very impractical to try to do this. And so they have mail-in ballots
So
in
it's
certain
like the
states.
exact opposite of what certain
Political parties are trying
political
to
parties are trying to say.
There are states that have 100% mail-in ballots. Their voting rate is 80%. 80% of their population votes. We're talking Washington and Oregon, all mail-in ballots. 80% of their whole population votes. It's fantastic. Of all of that, they had 54 questionable ones. That is a rate of like 0.002%,
That's crazy.
which is way lower than it is in in-person voting as well. So I don't know what these people are talking about when they talk about this. Get a mail-in ballot if you're at a place. Go vote. Make sure you vote. Vote.org. Check your voting status in your state. Also, there's a political quiz called isidewith.com that deals with like
list
the
that below as
issues. Link in the show notes. Gives you a list of, and it goes in depth too. So like, the first question on there is, do you support nuclear energy? And it just says yes, no, and this says other stances. You can click other stances, and you can see like more in-depth stuff about people's issues. And you can select the one that's yours or add your own.
Cool.
And you can say how important it is to you. So check those out.
So
Informed.
vote, mail-in ballot,
Mail-in ballot status.
educate yourself.
Educate yourself.
Cool.
And that's part of our call to action for
Yeah.
the closing.
Well, let's
actually.
let's wrap things up here.
Yeah.
Right.
So last week we did send us your pun,
Pun.
send us your mask pick, and a cool story. So this week we'll go and do, let's say, send us get HBO Max. They should have like at least the week-long trial. So
give it a shot.
Jump in there, give it a week. You know, I mean, you can watch some of those shows in a day, in a couple hours.
Yeah.
So jump on there. At least do the free trial. It probably will convince you to buy the service anyway. So jump in there, check out what we recommended, find some recommendations of your own, and send us those recommendations.
Yeah, leave them in the
comment them below. Whether on our YouTube link or if it's on Facebook, send us your recommendations on what you liked on HBO Max. Send us those. What about you?
And then the last, just go to vote.org and check your voting status.
Yeah.
See if you're registered. Indiana's got online registration. You don't have to go in person or anything like that. You can do it all there.
It's very easy.
All done. You can even sign up for reminders too. So like, oh my gosh, it's the Democratic or it's the primaries going on. Oh no, I gotta make sure I get to the polls. Like they send you messages to remind you.
Yeah.
So that stuff is very handy if you want to be an informed voter.
For sure. So send us your recommendations and check your voting status. Vote.org. Other than that, I think that's all we got today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you later, and remember to keep looking up.
There you go. Up at the stars. See ya.